Good afternoon, fellow YouTubers. It's Kenneth Powers, and I'm back here for a Blu-ray update for Sunday, May 9th, 2021. It's the DVD Blu-ray update summer 2021 edition, by the way. And we're going to do part 8. So without further ado, let's get started. First up is the (2004) special edition DVD release of 13 Going on 30, starring Jennifer Garner and Mark Ruffalo. 13 Going on 30 is the best romantic comedy of the year, says Jay Smith of Access Hollywood. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Judy Greer and Andy Serkis, directed by Gary Winnick. A terrific date movie, says Susan Granger of SSG Syndicate. The film itself is from 2004, rated PG-13, and runs 98 minutes. Up next is the 2012 DVD release of Red Tails, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and Terrence Howard. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. The Tuskegee Airmen are American heroes. Their courageous story is an inspiration for every generation, says General Colin Powell. The movie also stars Nate Parker, David Aiello, Neo, and Elijah Kelly. The film, directed by Anthony Hemingway. The film itself is from 2012, rated PG-13, and runs 125 minutes. Up next is the 2006 DVD Cinema Classics Collection DVD release of Peepers, starring Michael Caine and Natalie Wood. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Kitty Wynn, Michael Constantine, Liam Dunn, and Timothy Agaglia-Carey. The film, directed by Peter Hyams. The film itself is from 1975, rated PG, and runs 87 minutes. Up next is the, hold on a second here. (2006) special edition DVD release of The Towering Inferno, starring Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, William Holden, and Faye Dunaway. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. One of the greatest disaster pictures made, says Daily Variety. The movie also stars Fred Astaire, Susan Blakely, Richard Chamberlain, Jennifer Jones, O.J. Simpson, Robert Vaughn, and Robert Wagner. Directed by John Gillerman. The film itself is from 1974, rated PG, and runs 164 minutes. Next up is the 2014 Blu-ray release of Fargo, directed by Joel and Ethan Coen. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. 2 thumbs up, way up, says Siskel and Ebert. Starring Frances McDormand, William H. Macy, Steve Buscemi, Harvey Presnell, and Peter Stormare. The film itself is from 1996, rated R, and runs 98 minutes. Up next is a huge collection of Clint Eastwood films. Up next is the 35 films collection by Clint Eastwood. Here's the front, back, and the spine. Featuring all the Dirty Harry movies, The Gauntlet, Tightrope, The Rookie, Where Eagles Dare, Kelly's Heroes, Firefox, Heartbreak Ridge, Absolute Power, True Crime, Space Cowboys, Bloodwork, Every Which Way But Loose, Any Which Way You Can, Bronco Billy, Honky Tonk Man, City Heat, Pink Cadillac, Perfect World, Bridges of Madison County, Outlaw Josie Wales, Pale Rider, Unforgiven, Bird, White Hunter, Black Heart, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, Mystic River, $1 Million Baby, Letters from Iwo Jima, Gran Torino, and Invictus. Up next is another Clint Eastwood collection. It's the Clint Eastwood American Icon collection featuring Play Misty for Me, The Iger Sanction, Coogan's Bluff, and The Beguiled. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Play Misty for Me also stars Jessica Walter, Donna Mills, and John Arch. Directed by Robert Daly. The film itself is from 1971, rated R, and runs an hour and 43 minutes. The Iger Sanctioned also stars George Kennedy, Vonetta McGee, Jack Cassidy. Directed by Clint Eastwood. The film itself is from, and the first film is also directed by Clint Eastwood, by the way, Play Misty for Me, but Iger Sanction's also directed by Clint Eastwood. The film itself is from 1975, rated R, and runs 2 hours and 9 minutes. Coogan's Bluff also stars Susan Clark, Don Stroud, Tisha Sterling, Betty Field, and Lee J. Cobb. The film is directed by directed by Don Siegel. The film itself is from 1968, rated R, and runs an hour and 35 minutes. And The Beguiled also stars Geraldine Page, Elizabeth Hartman, Joanne Harris, Darlene Carr, Mae Mercer, Pamela Ferdin, Melody Thomas, Peggy Dreyer, and Patty Matic. Directed by Don Siegel. The film itself is from 1970, rated R, and runs an hour and 45 minutes. Up next is a Clint Eastwood 4-film favorites collection, featuring Trouble with the Curve, Gran Torino, J. Edgar, and Invictus. Here's the front, back, spine. Trouble with the Curve also stars Amy Adams, Justin Timberlake, and John Goodman. Directed by Robert Lorenz. The film itself is from 2012, rated PG-13, and runs 111 minutes. Gran Torino is directed by Clint Eastwood also, and the film itself is from 2008, rated R, runs 116 minutes. J. Edgar stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Naomi Watts, Armie Hammer, Josh Lucas, and Judi Dench. Directed by Clint Eastwood. The film itself is from 2011. Rated R, and runs 137 minutes. And Invictus stars Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon. Directed by Clint Eastwood. The film itself is from 2009, rated PG-13, and runs 133 minutes. Up next is the (2002) DVD release of Super Troopers. Damn, it's funny, says Ain't It Cool News. Here's the front, back, and spine. Starring J. Chandra Seeker, Kevin Heffernan, Steve Lemmy, Paul Soter, Eric Stolhansky, Brian Cox, Daniel Van Bargen, and Marissa Coughlan. Directed by J. Chandrasekhar. The film itself is from 2002. Rated R, and runs 103 minutes. And it's hilarious, says Gannett News Service. Alright. Up next is the 2013 DVD release of Gangster Squad, starring Josh Brolin, Ryan Gosling, Nick Nolte, Emma Stone, and Sean Penn. Here's the front, back, spine. Also starring Emma Stone. Also starring Anthony Mackie, Giovanni Ribisi, and Michael Pena. Directed by Ruben Fleischer. The film itself is from 2013, rated R, and runs 113 minutes. Up next is the 2005 DVD release of The Pacifier, starring Vin Diesel. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Lauren Graham, Faye Ford, Brittany Snow, Max Thierot, with Carol Kane and Brad Garrett, directed by Adam Shankman. The film itself is from 2005, rated PG, and runs 96 minutes. Vin Diesel's best movie ever, says Jim Sveda of KNX CBS Radio, and fun for all ages, says Jim Ferguson of ABC TV Tucson. Up next is the 2004 DVD release of Open Range, starring Robert Duvall, Kevin Costner, and Annette Bening, directed by Kevin Costner. One of the year's very best, says ABC TV. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Also starring Michael Gambon and Michael Jeter. 2 thumbs up, says Ebert and Roper, and a cinematic triumph, says Access Hollywood. The film itself is from 2003, rated R, and runs 139 minutes. Up next is the 2008 DVD release of Jumper. Special edition DVD release of Jumper. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. Starring Hayden Christensen, Jamie Bell, Rachel Bilson, Michael Roker, Anna Sophia Robb, Max Thiero with Diane Lane, and Samuel L. Jackson, directed by Doug Liman. The film itself is from 2008, rated PG-13, and runs 88 minutes. Up next is the 2002 DVD release of Office Space, directed by Mike Judge. Here's the front, the back, and the spine. A savage comedy, says Roger Ebert of Siskel and Ebert, and sharp and funny, says Kevin Thomas of LA Times. Starring Ron Livingston, Stephen Root, Gary Cole, and Jennifer Aniston. The film itself is from 1999, rated R, and runs 90 minutes. Up next is the 2004 DVD release of Big Fish, starring Ewan McGregor, Albert Finney, Billy Crudup, and Jessica Lange, directed by Tim Burton. Big Fish is Tim Burton's masterpiece, says Glenn Whipp of Los Angeles Daily News. An adventure as big as life itself. Amazing. Big Fish is an incredible cinematic journey that is as wonderful wonderfully magical as it is visually dazzling, says Sean Edwards of Fox TV. Nominated for 4 Golden Globes, including Best Picture, Musical or Comedy, and Supporting Actor, and Academy Award nominee for Best Original Score for Danny Elfman. A modern-day Wizard of Oz, says Scott Patrick of Stars and Encore. Here's the front, back, and the spine. Also starring Helena Bonham Carter, Alison Lohman, Robert Guillaume, Marion Cotillard, with Steve Buscemi, and Danny DeVito. The film itself is from 2003, rated PG-13, and runs 125 minutes. We got 2 more to go for this video, and next up is the 2005 DVD release of Robots, starring the voices of Ewan McGregor, Halle Berry, Greg Kinnear, Mel Brooks, Amanda Bynes, Drew Carey, and Robin Williams. Fun and imaginative, says New York Daily News. Here's the front, back, and the spine. Also starring the voice of Drew Carey, voices of Drew Carey and Jim Broadbent. Thrilling, funny, and terrific, says Larry King. Directed by Chris Wedge, the film itself is from 2005, rated PG, and runs 89 minutes. And last but not least for this video is the hold on a second here. ...2003 DVD release of Phone Booth, starring Colin Farrell, Forrest Whitaker, and Kiefer Sutherland, directed by Joel Schumacher. A brilliant psychological thriller, says Earl Dittman of Wireless Magazines. Here's the front, back, and the spine. A dynamite performance by Colin Farrell, says David Sheehan of KCBS TV. Also starring Katie Holmes, Rhoda Mitchell. The film itself is from 2003, rated R, and runs 81 minutes. Well, we're going to stop right there, and we'll pick up where we left off at in part 9. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you again in part 9. Bye-bye, take care.